Hi dear friends and subscribers, welcome back to Cricket Happenings, and in this part of the Cricket Happenings show we will be first starting off with the New Zealand versus West Indies on the second day's play, where West Indies have actually done well with their spinners even though they were crippled. In fact, West Indies were all out for 367, so they couldn't offer much of resistance, but Shivnarine Chanderpaul went on to make his 29th Test century, thus equaling Sir Donald Bradman's record of 29 centuries. He also went past the former Australian great Alan Border by having the surpassing Alan Border's run aggregate in Test cricket. And in fact, West Indies, I think it was pretty quick work. It was not much of a resistance. They were all out for 367, and New Zealand found themselves not in trouble, but definitely for the first time in the series, I would say that the New Zealand were not really convincing with their score of 156 for 3. Thanks in the main to Sunil Narine, who was inducted into the team, and you can really see what a difference he makes to the team with the pitch also playing a bit of in a different manner. Seddon Park in Hamilton in the past has always helped the pace bowlers, so the nature of the pitch has probably changed, because we are seeing that there was some turn available on the second day itself, and towards the end of the day some fizzing deliveries from Sunil Narine really bamboozled both the batsmen Ross Taylor and Brendan McCullum, who were at the crease. So I'll come back to that later, and then we will look at India versus South Africa, where India are absolutely in the driver's seat. They did a pretty, in fact the whole day I would say the honors definitely belong to India, with South Africa in reply not really going on, in fact doing what India did the other day by collapsing. They were all out for 244, so probably only I think it was 31 runs added, and they were all out for 244, thus conceding a 36-run lead to India. And India in their second day, led by Cheteshwar Pujara's century, 6th century, and his first century overseas, he was batting on a princely 135 with 18 boundaries. And Cheteshwar Pujara, one has always had questions about whether he can play aggressively, but the way he has done it, if you look at it in the final session, he scored 96 runs in that partnership with Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli once again continuing that brilliant form that he did in the first innings, and probably eyeing another century here. He was not out on 77. As I said, India absolutely on the driver's seat going into the third day at the Wanderers in Johannesburg. They were placed at 284 for 2. That essentially means that India, in fact it was stumps on day 3, I'm sorry about that, and India were leading by 320 runs. So absolutely at the driver's seat India now, dictating terms to South Africa. And as far as the other match which is concerned, I'm just going to be a cricket update, where Pakistan are currently taking on Sri Lanka. Pakistan have already finished off their innings, in the sense they have already played their 50 overs, and they scored another very high total of 284 for 4 here at the Dubai International Cricket Ground. It was led by Ahmed Shahzad, who was a very different knock from Ahmed Shahzad, who actually built up his innings. One has rarely seen Ahmed Shahzad play in such a manner for Pakistan. He has always been a bloke who likes to attack the ball, go for his strokes, but if you look at his innings, he really built an innings this time. And he got some good support from all the later order batsmen, and that's what enabled Pakistan to reach 284 for 4 of their 50 overs. Ahmed Shahzad's contribution being 124, and I think Ahmed Shahzad, the opening batsman of Pakistan, is really coming of age now. He made 124 runs with 8 fours, a very mature knock from him, which took Pakistan to 284. And the current situation coming in from the current cricket update coming in from the Dubai cricket stadium here is that Sri Lanka currently chasing are 76 for 2. We are in the 19th over. They had both their openers were looking pretty good, run out for 16 and 40 respectively. It was Kushala Perera out for 16 of 24 balls with 2 fours. Dilshan was run out for 40 of 48 balls with 6 fours. Currently, Kumar Sangakkara and Chandimal are manning the crease right now. We'll come back to that later, but let's head on to the New Zealand-West Indies match and see what happened on day 2. Well, West Indies resuming at their overnight score had Shivnarine Chanderpaul in the middle with the captain Darren Sammy, but it was New Zealand actually didn't allow much. In fact, they picked up some very quick wickets, but Darren Sammy falling to the bowling of Saudi for 3 and Sunil Narine being out for 2. After that, Shivnarine Chanderpaul was he was in his 90s, and he had to be kept some company. So that came in the form of the tail-end assistance from the West Indies batsman Veerasammy Perumal, the number 10 batsman, who contributed 20 with 2 fours and 1 6, and then Tino Best giving company to Chandrapal for a 10th-wicket stand, which stretched the score from 332 for 9 to 367. 367 all-out West Indies, with Shivnarine Chandrapal, as I said, equaling Sir Donald Bradman's record of 29 Test centuries. He was not out on 122 with 11 boundaries, 367 all-out West Indies. Playing, in the first innings. The bowling figures I'm not going to go, since I'm really short of time here. Tim Southee was the best, taking 479. Other than that, 3 wickets to Corey Anderson and 1 wicket apiece to Trent Boult, Neil Wagner and Southee. As far as New Zealand were concerned, New Zealand, they didn't find it very easy there. It was a very good bowling from the West Indian bowlers, who were really sticking to a good line and length, especially Darren Sammy, the West Indian skipper, bowling an excellent line and length and really making life difficult, especially for Peter Fulton, who was really playing at snail's pace. He was not really able to force the ball. It was some tight fields which were set by Darren Sammy, and that was the one which actually contributed to the dismissal of Peter Fulton, but I'll come back to that later. Hamish Rutherford was the first to go, as Sammy, with his very impeccable line and length, picked up the wicket of Hamish Rutherford, as he was caught and bowled by Sammy for Den. So that was 18 for 1. Peter Fulton, after I would say absolutely was dismissed out of his misery, in the sense he was out of his misery after contributing 11 runs of 71 deliveries, as Peter Fulton was the victim of Sunil Narine, who actually picked up his wicket pretty early in these early overs, as he actually foxed Peter Fulton, who was caught by Sammy of the bowling of Narine for 11. And then it was a partnership between Kane Williamson and Ross Taylor for the 3rd wicket, which yielded 95 runs, 95 valuable runs. Kane Williamson was not looking so convincing with his stroke making, but he did his bit there, and he contributed 58 with 5 fours. And as I said, the ball was turning. It was not easy to play, and it was really surprising to see that Seddon Park and Hamilton, we saw the ball start turning on day 2 itself. So that is some good news for West Indies here, because Sunil Narine and Veersamy Permaul in the ranks. And for New Zealand, they would be looking at Southee, the right-arm leg spinner. So Ross Taylor towards the stumps was not out on 56 with 8 fours, and Brendan McCullum was not out on 11 with 2 fours. 156 for 3 was the tally for New Zealand at the end of day 2. Sunil Narine coming into the West Indies team really helped matters. Look at the bowling figures of Sunil Narine, who, as I said, fished 2 balls, bowling, extracting enormous turn and foxing both the batsmen Ross Taylor and Brendan McCullum with his turn and bounce. 22 overs, 9 minutes, 43 runs and 2 wickets. And Darren Sammy, absolutely one-day bowling analysis here. 10 overs, 5 minutes, 1 for 17. So now, since I said I'm a bit short of time, I have to really rush into it. So let's look at what India did to South Africa. South Africa replying with 244. It was pretty quick work done by the Indian pace bowlers today, Zahir Khan and Ishan Sharma in particular, sharing the spoils with 4 wickets apiece. In fact, taking 2 wickets apiece in this particular second innings. And in fact, Zahir Khan taking 3 wickets today, and Ishan Sharma picking up 1. Zahir Khan on his return, bowling excellently, 26.3 over 6 maidens, 88 runs and 4 wickets, got the ball to bounce a bit. He also got some good late outswinging. The other day we saw to Graham Smith, he got a ball which was a late in-swinging delivery. Today we saw some late outswinging deliveries from Zahir Khan, and Zahir Khan, this will do loads of confidence to Zahir Khan's bowling. And as far as South Africa were concerned, they were all out for 244. One on Philander, continuing making his 50. He was out for 59 with 7 fours. And just looking at the way people were dismissed, as I said, there was a lot of bounce. He was allowing the ball to really bounce at the batsman, and that was the one which brought South Africa. Bowled out South Africa for 244. Du Plessis was out for 20. Dale Steyn was out for 10. All lifting deliveries, and Maury Markel, a real Yorker from in-swinging Yorker from Zahir Khan, crashing into the stumps of Maury Markel, bringing an innings close as far as South Africa were concerned. 244 all out. As I said, Zahir Khan on his return, on his first time bowling after his comeback. What a splendid bowling analysis. 26.3 over 6 maidens, 88 runs and 4 wickets. Ishan Sharma supported him admirably. 25 overs, 5 maidens, 79 runs and 4 wickets. And Mohammad Shami chipping in yesterday with 2 vital wickets, as you know, of Dumini and de Villiers. 2 for 48, none for 25 for Ashwin. He didn't see any much spin there. And as far as India were concerned, Well, for India, it was Shikhar Dhawan who was dismissed early. He lost the wicket as he got a ball. It was a short of leg delivery from one on fielder, and Shikhar Dhawan had actually got a nick onto it as he shaped to play the delivery, and Kallis had the slips taking the catch. He was gone for 15. Murali Vijay, well, grafted and grafted. He did his bit, occupying 94 balls to make 39. He played some delectable strokes there, but he was gone when Kallis came in and picked up the wicket. And in fact, one thing that I would like to say here, this one on philander went on to pick up his 100th test wicket when he took the wicket of Shikhar Dhawan. He joined some great bowlers category there, and he was the fastest South African to do so. Dale Steyn had done it one match more than one on philander, but one on philander becomes the fastest South African to 100 wickets. He also did it, as you know, he's the second highest as far as 50 wickets are concerned, but now he is into the 100 wicket group. So that was it, and South Africa had, once they got Vijay's wicket, the score was looking a bit not dicey. It was a bit Australia, I would say South Africa were pretty strong there at 93 for 2, but after that all the hopes were squashed by this unbeaten partnership, which took India towards the close of play at 284 for 2, essentially meaning that they are already on overall lead is 320 runs. Cheteshwar Pujara, as I said, this is his first overseas century. 5 centuries have been made in India, and now Cheteshwar Pujara hit his first overseas century here in South Africa. He was not out on 135 with 18 wonderfully hit boundaries, and he scored 96 runs in the final session in that partnership. And this partnership right now is almost heading towards the double century mark, because they came at the score, they joined hands when the score was 93 for 2, and now the score for at the end of the day for India reading 284 for 2. So that essentially means that they have added 191 runs, unbroken partnership for the third wicket, which had India in the absolutely in the driver's seat, with Pujara's contribution 135 with 18 boundaries not out. Virat Kohli continuing his good form that he showed in the first innings, hitting the first century of this particular test series. He was not out on 77 with 8 fours. But Cheteshwar Pujara, unfortunately I don't have much time to talk about it. As I said, unless and until cricket becomes a full-time job for me, which pays me, that's the time I can really dwell absolutely eloquently. And because my time is really short, I have to end up this particular report here. And as I said, one thing I would like to say before I leave, that as far as South Africa were concerned, they were absolutely crippled because they lost the services of Mone Markel, who limped off with an injury, and he's a doubtful starter even for the Boxing Day Test match, which is sad news, because I thought India definitely would have benefited from the fact that Mone Markel was not there to bowl. Well, so let's leave from there and get on to the cricket update here. I've already told you that the feature of Pakistan innings, 284 for 4 of their 50 overs in the second one-day international at Dubai. Ahmed Shahzad was the man who led the way with 124 of 140 balls with 8 fours. Contributions coming in from Hafiz with 32, Sohail Maqsood making 18, Misbah-ul-Haq and Shahid Afridi playing a real cameo, which he has been showing off late in a very big manner. He made a very quick fire 30 of 15 balls with two sixes and 1 4 being not out. Misbah-ul-Haq, the captain, making 59 of 62 balls with 2 fours and 1 6. And Sri Lanka currently in their quest, slowly trying to do that, 86 for 2 currently, and we are in the 21st over. Well, dear fans and subscribers, due to shortage of time, I'll have to end my cricket show for today. I hope you all like my cricket show. Thanks for your company. Thanks for your continuous company to this cricket show. And I'm sorry, dear fans and friends and subscribers, unless and until this particular cricket show really starts paying me, that is the time, if it becomes my bread and butter, then I'm sure I can, 20 minutes is nothing for me. I can even speak for 30 minutes on cricket on this particular show. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And unfortunately, since my bread and butter comes from the work that I'm doing, unfortunately, I have to leave you, dear fans and subscribers. It really grieves me that I have to leave this cricket show, because I love to talk about cricket. And on this note, dear fans and subscribers, your host Ram is taking leave now, but I'll be seeing you tomorrow. And tomorrow is Saturday, as you would remember. It would be a late night cricket show with your host Ram. Until then, it's goodbye. Thank you.